Just because God allows a world ruler to have power and influence, it doesn't mean that that is a godly person. We see this many, many times. We saw it as we have been going through the book of Isaiah with the king of Assyria. God said, I'm going to use the Assyrians to punish my people, but after that I'm going to have to punish the Assyrians because they're so ungodly. The same applies to the king of Babylon. And it goes much farther. In the book of Isaiah chapter 14, we understand that the king of Babylon is actually motivated by Satan. So much so that the fall of the king of Babylon is actually related to the fall of Satan. And here he's called by the name Lucifer. We read about it in Isaiah chapter 14 and verse 12. It says, "How art thou fallen from heaven, O Lucifer, son of the morning? How art thou cut down to the ground, which did weaken the nations?" Make no mistake, Satan has a lot of power in this world, and he does weaken nations. He also raises up people as given opportunity by God. We see him working in the life of Judas. "For thou hast said in thine heart, I will ascend into heaven. I will exalt my throne above the stars of God. I will sit also upon the mount of the congregation in the sides of the north. I will ascend above the heights of the clouds. I will be like the Most High. Yet thou shalt be brought down to hell, to the sides of the pit," the Bible says. Now what we have here is we have a chapter that's talking about the fall of the king of Babylon. Yes, God was going to use him as a chastisement against the people of Judah, but afterwards, several kings later after Nebuchadnezzar, the pride in his heart is going to be raised up so much, and God is going to take him down. He's going to wipe him out, and the Medes and the Persians are going to come against the nation of Babylon and defeat it. Here we see the motivation related to this king, and it's related all the way back to Lucifer, to that angel that God had created that we know of as Satan. And look at the things that he is saying. What is it that Satan wants? Does he want to glorify and serve God? Does he want to be like the faithful angel Gabriel, who stands in the presence of God, and as God tells him, go and give Daniel revelation, he goes, or go and give Mary revelation, and he goes? No, that's not what Satan wants. Satan wanted to sit upon the mount of the congregation. He wanted to exalt his throne above the stars of God. He wanted to ascend above the heights of the clouds. He wanted to be like the Most High. When we come to the New Testament, the Bible tells us in 1 Timothy chapter 3, it says that when a church is going to ordain someone as a bishop or as a pastor, that they need to be careful of ordaining a brand new believer. And it says in verse 6 of 1 Timothy 3, not a novice. In other words, not somebody who's a brand spanking new believer in Jesus. Why? Lest being lifted up with pride, he fall into the condemnation of the devil. There it is. The sin of Satan is, it all begins with this sin of pride, this desire to be higher than God had placed him, this desire to have a throne that was exalted and to ultimately be like God himself, to be like the Most High. And the Bible says, yet thou shalt be brought down to hell, to the sides of the pit. And that ultimately is where Satan is going to be. He's going to be cast into the lake of fire. And so as we study our Bible, this is here for a reason. It's placed here to remind us that pride is what caused Satan to fall. And you and I, we are subject to it as well. We've got to guard our hearts against pride and haughtiness, against arrogancy, because God opposes the proud, but he gives his grace to the humble. And if we'll humble ourselves under the mighty hand of God, the Bible says that he will give us his grace. He will pour out upon us his mercy, and he will be drawing us as we draw near to him. He'll draw near to us as we come to him in humility. I just want to encourage you this morning. We need to learn from our enemies like Satan. We don't want to be like that. God bless you. Hope that you have a great day.